What's going on, everyone? It is another episode of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by Blue Wire. I'm your host, Jevin LeFave. On this episode, we're unfortunately not having Hayden on it, but I am joined by our wonderful friend, Goff, recurring guest. You know him, you love him. And this was a fantastic episode because we ran through all the NHL series. We talked about the Kadri circumstance and debacle and how St. Louis fans are continuing to show how classless they are, and talked about Giordano, Russ signing their contracts, Florida getting swept by Tampa somehow embarrassingly, Calgary, Edmonton, how McDavid is playing God mode, and Rangers, Carolina just seems to be the home team winning. It was a very, very fun episode, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. I know you guys will. And if you're listening to this, head over to the YouTube if you want to watch it, Left Side Heavy. Subscribe, like, comment, ring the bell so you never miss an upload. And if you're listening, head to wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. Leave a rating and review. Really helps the algorithm, helps grow the show. And I won't let you guys wait any longer. Here's myself and Brandon Goff, and we talk about NHL playoffs on episode 101. Peace. Become the new podcast ritual. Cracking one open. So you have to do it now. Cheers. To episode 101. It's another episode of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by Blue Wire Podcasts. I'm your host, Jevin LeFave. We are without host Hayden Barton because he has other commitments. It's his lady friend's birthday.
Lame excuse to miss.
Yeah. Simp. What is it?
I think that's the most ridiculous term ever. Every time I think simp, I just think of a chimp. I don't know. I just think of a little chimpanzee. I don't know.
Just rhyming.
Simp, chimp, gimp,
yeah.
Limp, pimp.
Pimp, P-I-M-P. Great song by 50.
Yeah.
Where did this conversation go? No, yeah, but it's episode 101. Coming at you with my boy B. Goff here. And we're going to be talking a little playoff hockey. Nothing really much else, but just some playoff updates. We're currently watching the Rangers-Carolina game. Rangers are up 4-1, so if you catch us looking up above the camera, then that's exactly what we're watching. 5 minutes left on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Series should be tied 2-2 after this, but
let's hope so.
The standard would be me to completely mush the Rangers and have Carolina come back.
Yeah, you could be jinxing them pretty good, but they do have 0 shots on the power play, but 5 minutes left, up 3 goals. I hope they win.
Yeah, it'll be hard to.
That's like I don't even know, 20. I was going to say 20, a certain year of the Leafs, but basically the Leafs from 2010 till now. That'd be a real Leafs move.
Yeah, exactly. But what have been your thoughts about the second round in general? It's been pretty crazy. I mean, we already have one surprise end of a series, but overall, what have been your thoughts of the second round?
I thought the round has been all over the map. I thought that if there was going to be a sweep, that it was going to be Colorado sweeping St. Louis, if there was going to be one.
Yeah.
St. Louis looked like they were going to maybe make a run at it, but obviously losing Binnington's a pretty big piece to not have for them, which, I mean, yes, he was not playing the best, but definitely he's the goalie that's won him a cup in the past, so that's a big piece to miss out on. Obviously, the Calgary-Edmonton series has just been...
It's been the best series.
I don't even know what words you can use to describe it.
Yeah.
It's the Battle of Alberta. It's amazing. Like you said, the sweep of Tampa beating Florida is very, very surprising. I don't think anybody saw that coming. A lot of people saw Tampa beating Florida, but not in a sweep for sure.
No.
And then, yeah, this Rangers one has been, I think, closer than expected. I think a lot of people saw Carolina manhandling them quite a bit.
Yeah, it's this Carolina team is really confusing me. It's because, I mean, yeah, they're just really confusing because they're juggernauts at home, but then they just look like they can't do anything on the road.
Yeah.
But before we get to playoff hockey, I've barely talked to you in the past, like, week, I feel. Like, I just feel like I haven't actually interacted with you. How have you been, brother?
Been good, yeah. I mean,
you
regular Poco life.
Yeah, I mean, you started a new job. We haven't really talked about that since you've been on.
Yeah, I was doing some work as a archaeologist for a little bit there, and then basically just digging for treasure and not finding anything.
No?
Finding a little bit of stuff, but
Yeah.
nothing too crazy. And then, yeah, I go to Arizona this week for field school. So, leave on Saturday, and I'm gone
For what?
field school. So, I don't really know what the difference between field school and a field trip is, but basically going on a field trip for 2 weeks to Arizona. So, for school.
For school.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah. Fully funded through the government, so it's pretty sweet.
That's interesting. Are you just going to be going on hikes and
That's
digging?
what I think is happening. We're going to go to some historical sites, archaeological sites, go to some museums, I think the first like 8 or 9 days we're going to be hanging out at Flagstaff, which is like northern Arizona.
Okay.
At Northern Arizona University.
Hmm.
And then we spend the last few days in downtown Phoenix, which could be a mess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That sounds fire, though.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm excited.
I mean, we have a trip to Arizona planned.
Hopefully, yeah.
And
Hopefully everything works out for that. That'd be
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
I mean, we got everything booked, and that was like that story the way I tell people is hilarious. Like, we're both about to leave Leo's for the night, and you just look at me, you're like, hey, I found this Airbnb during the Super Bowl. It's about like $400 for the weekend per person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's cancel any time, and we don't have to pay till we get there. And I'm like, why haven't you booked it yet?
And then I originally booked it for the wrong week.
Yeah.
And I was like, nice. And then I was like, oh, damn, it's going to be so expensive. Same price.
Same price. But
Either the place is going to be an absolute mess when we get there and not look anything like the pictures, or we just found an absolute steal.
regardless, it's going to be
It'll be
unreal.
fun.
Yeah.
Week of the Waste Management and the Super Bowl in Arizona.
It's hard to beat. Arizona's been a place I've been really looking for. I've been really wanting to go to.
Yeah. I feel like Arizona's a place where like all like the dads always go and they always talk about it.
Yeah.
And you just never know or never understand.
Yeah.
So,
Like, what's the hype about it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, my parents went to a Coyotes Canucks game.
That was a long time ago, right?
Years ago. And tickets were $20.
oh yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Arizona that my dad was telling me the story one time. Actually, it might have been Minnesota from back in the day, but I'm pretty sure it was Arizona. But it was something like if you bought like a 24 case from the liquor store that was like across the street from the arena, you got tickets to the game that night.
That's unbelievable.
Like, because they were just giving them away for free because there's nobody that would go.
That's sick. I mean, that's excellent marketing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Canucks did that. Be like, buy a 36 rack and get the tickets for $50 cheaper.
I was going to say, even if you got it for the price of what the 36 pack would cost you, you'd still save at least $40-$50.
Yeah. No, 100%.
On the crappy, like, ticket night
Yeah.
games against, I don't even know who, but
Arizona.
yeah, Arizona. Yeah, fair.
Besides the Sedin night, which you bought at the beginning of the season.
We bought those, I think it was 2 weeks before the game because it was Keenan's 19th birthday. So, and he was the first one of us to turn 19 that wanted to go to a game. So we were like, perfect, we can go watch the Coyotes because Matt Nelson's like an unofficial Coyotes fan.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is hilarious.
I feel like he just started cheering for them because of like.
He thought that was hilarious how they
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
And so he was like half Coyotes, or like he's like 3/4 Bruins fan, 1/4 Coyotes fan. So we're like, perfect. This guy kind of likes the Coyotes. This guy's, it's his birthday. I just want to go have a good time and watch a hockey game.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like a week before the game, all of a sudden, or maybe was it even a week? I don't even know if it was a week. It was like a couple days before the game, I think.
I thought it was like months.
No, but like when they announced their retirement, I'm pretty sure it was like maybe like 2 weeks or something. Like it was very close.
Okay.
Like because we bought the tickets, and then like maybe it was a week after we bought the tickets, or
I thought you
I
had
don't
the
know.
tickets on lock for like a
No,
few
it
months.
was very like we talked about it, but didn't actually buy tickets
Oh.
like till very close to. And yeah, we spent $30 on our tickets and got to see the Sedins play their last ever game
That's
in Vancouver.
unbelievable.
The people that were sitting beside us, I think they paid $250 a ticket, and the three of us are standing here, and we're just like,
We got ours $90 combined.
yeah. We had people offering us like $300 for each of our tickets, and we're just like, nah, screw it. Like, yeah, we could just buy beer and chill at home and pocket the money and watch the
No,
game.
but like
But
that experience,
great experience, and it was only 30. I mean, we spent much more than $30 on beer,
naturally.
but it was a $30 experience of a lifetime.
But people spent the same amount on beer, plus $270 more.
To sit
ticket.
right beside me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if like, because just the preface of saying, yeah, I went to the Sedin's last game, that's unreal on its own.
Yeah.
But you got like
The send off that they got.
Yeah.
The OT winner.
The OT winner, they scored
The
at
crowd was going bananas the whole time.
They scored at 22:33 of the third
It was
period.
just ridiculous.
Pretty much.
Like it was like the 3 minutes and 22 seconds of overtime. Like
Yeah.
it was just, it wasn't real.
Yeah, like if you took overtime and the third period, it was 22:33.
Yeah. And then when every time either that they would step on the ice or get the puck, like they'd step on the ice, everyone would stand up out of their seats and start cheering. And then when
Yeah.
they get the puck, the place was like electric.
Erupting,
Like
yeah.
you would think they won the Stanley Cup because they were going so bananas in that place.
There couldn't have been a better script to that game.
Yeah.
And Bo Horvat, when he was on Chicklets,
Yeah.
he said, he was like, yeah, the beer sales
Oh.
were like
ridiculous.
Well, like no, like some of the beer sales came out to like 333
Yeah.
and 22 cents or something
Yeah,
like that.
it was insane. Like everything about that day was just Henrik and Daniel Sedin, and it made no sense, but it happened, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things I've ever.
I would say the only thing that is too bad is that they had one more game left. Like if that could have been their last game.
Yeah, because they played in Edmonton shortly after. Yeah,
like a couple days after that. Like if that could have been their last game, that would have been sweet.
That's man. I remember watching that game. I think I was in Leo's, and there was people up front, and no one was paying attention to the customers.
Oh yeah,
But
well,
none of the customers.
everybody was watching
cared.
the TV.
Everyone was watching the TV, and no one cared about pizza at that point.
Yeah,
And we're like, yeah, we'll get to you. And they're like, we're not in a hurry.
yeah. I want to watch this too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I literally left my couch watching this game to come pick up my pizza. And you guys have a TV here.
Yeah.
And then we just all watched the OT period. I'm pretty sure there was like 30 of us in Leo's, including staff and customers.
Wow.
And then we all erupted when Daniel scored in overtime.
Yeah.
One of the best games I've ever seen in my life. And you got to go to it. I'm so jealous.
I had a pretty good streak. I think it was that year because it was like I got to see Thatcher's first win,
Okay.
Sedin's last game in Vancouver, Pettersson's first goal in Vancouver, and then the next season after that I got to see Hughes play his. I think it was the season opener and Hughes scored his first goal.
Okay.
I had a pretty good streak going on there of Canucks first, and then I don't know what happened, but
You saw Pettersson's first goal live?
yeah, I went to the game with my dad
I remember
against Calgary.
I remember exactly where I was. Wasn't that Louis' first game too? I mean, like,
No, Louis was.
it's hard to tell
No,
because
because Louis was on the team when the Sedins were here, I think.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, they were.
But because I remember it was Petey's first shift, skates on the ice, stood there for like 5 seconds, got off the ice because Goodbranson blew somebody up, and then there was a fight the next whistle, and my dad and I were like in between Markstrom and the Canucks bench in that corner,
Oh, okay.
and we were like basically right along the boards, like the
Oh,
lengthwise.
shit.
So we had like the view of everything, like him stepping on, him getting yanked off, and then when he went down on the 2-on-1 on the opposite side, we had basically like they get like the shooter's eye when you're right behind the guy
Oh, you got the shooter's eye?
of PD scoring his first goal and roofing it. Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
it was pretty sweet, but
Yeah, I remember sitting. I went way more crazy than I thought I would. Like, I went insane.
going bananas cheering for a guy that's
Yeah.
older than us.
When I just think about that, like, I see Robert Thomas on St. Louis.
Yeah.
He is exactly my age. He's
Yeah.
July 2nd, 1999.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's just in the show.
Yeah,
One
it's
of
not
the-
fair.
One of the best young players in the league.
What an idiot.
And I'm just
Talk. We're just in here talking about him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're talking about a guy our age.
Yeah.
And there's kids like Jack Hughes who are younger. It's just, it's unfair, man. It's unfair. I always start talking about that. I'm like, we're getting to that age now where it's like,
I'm that washed up bum watching these guys going, oh, I played with that guy. Like
Yeah.
watching lacrosse. I watch the NLL now, and it's like all these guys I played against and played with, and I'm like, hey, I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy. I'm like, damn, like, that used to be the old guys when I was growing up. Now
Yeah.
I'm getting to be that old guy.
yeah.
Like, I'm only 23, but I'm that old guy now.
And just seeing kids get drafted and they're like, born 2004. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, like the WHL draft's probably drafting like 08s now or something stupid.
a kid, 14 years old, got drafted first overall.
Yeah.
14. 14 years old.
What's that? 9? What are we? 20, we're 23. You're 22. I'm 23.
Yeah.
9 years, right? Math.
Math guy, yeah. Yeah. 8, 9 years.
8, 9, depending.
Something like that.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It's messed up, man. It's messed up. But shall we get into some hockey here?
Works for me.
We got I want to start off with just some general news. We got a few contracts that were signed. Giordano takes a absolute discount.
Homer.
Resigns in Toronto for 2 years, $1.6 million. And that is not the annual
Yeah.
salary. He's $800K he's making a year.
He's got the Buffalo special
Yeah, the Buffalo Special.
by his choice, too.
Seriously, he won the Norris, 3 years ago?
Something like
in 2019, when the year Tampa got swept.
that. Yeah.
He won the Norris that year. And 3 years later, he's making $800K.
Yeah. How many guys are 3 years off of Norris are making $800K?
It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
Letang, Giordano's 35 years old, and he could easily be making, $4 million?
I'd say it.
4 or
yeah.
5 million? Letang's 34, he's expecting 7,
Yeah.
and Giordano's making $800K.
Yeah.
And he is, let me tell you, much better than $800K.
Yes. Yeah. What? Isn't Shen at a mill or something like that?
Yeah.
$900K. So, who would you rather have, Shen at a mill or Giordano at $800K?
Yo, I kept saying, like, for the longest time, I love Shen for the price that we're paying him.
Great player for Vancouver.
Now he's overpaid.
Everybody now that all these GMs are going into the offseason going, you want to make this money? Hey guy, this guy won a Norris 3 years ago and he makes $800K. You're making $850.
Yeah, if you come into my office asking for $2 million,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, free agency's calling you name, buddy.
Yeah. Oh my god. But the thing is like, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
Like, even GMs would be like, okay, that's not normal.
Yeah. That's 100% like freakish.
Yeah. So even bums deserve more than
Yeah.
800. Rookies are making 750.
They went in with like a team, like saying like, hey, take a team friendly discount, and they said, and then they went back with a mill, and he said, no, $800K.
That's like Jason Spezza.
Yeah.
He said he took the vet min
Yeah.
and he said in an interview, he's like, if I could take less money, I would have.
Yeah.
But I can't. I literally
I'm not
can't.
allowed.
I'm not allowed to make less money.
Yeah.
Or else I would be making like 500K.
Yeah. And with him too, like, he said when he got put on the waivers the 1 year, he's like, anybody picks me up, I'll retire. And
Yeah.
then like when they were talking about him this year, like having to extend kind of thing, they were like, what are your thoughts? He said, I'll play in Toronto or I'll retire. Like,
Yeah.
it's Toronto or I'm in the stands.
Yeah. So just Toronto's gotten so lucky with two absolute classy vets.
Yeah.
And Giordano did not have to do that.
No.
But I truly think that, and just like everyone watching these playoffs, especially when you see how Florida lost to Tampa, Toronto was so close to taking the next step.
Yep.
And they have the core to do it. So I honestly completely understand Giordano for taking a discount.
Yeah.
Dubas probably looked at him and was like, hey, we're kind of scraping the barrel here with cap space.
Yeah.
Help us out.
We
And
can't
he's
afford
like,
to pay you what you're worth anyways.
And yeah, and he's not going to get that much better of an opportunity anywhere else.
He's getting old.
Yeah.
Like-
So, and Toronto, as much as their playoffs success or playoffs,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call
They
it.
had success in the playoffs
yeah,
this year compared to
like-
years past, I would say.
Like, they totally deserve to beat Tampa this year.
Yeah.
Game 7,
Yeah.
I'm like, Toronto is moving on to the second round.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to beat Tampa. Like, Toronto was so close, and I truly think, like, they would have gone to the Stanley Cup final if they beat Tampa.
You think?
Yeah. I think they would have washed Florida.
Yeah. I mean,
And
If-
I think they really can beat New York.
knowing
or
what we know
Carolina.
now and how Tampa swept Florida,
Even
like was Florida, like Washington was a bottom of the playoff team
yeah.
that Florida worked pretty good.
Got a little close.
It did get a little
Yeah.
little sneaky,
Yeah.
but like when it came to it, it was Florida was the they were the President's Trophy winners.
yeah.
And now that we, like I said, now that we know what we know, like Tampa was very close to losing to Toronto, and Tampa swept Florida. So who's to say that the Leafs wouldn't have not necessarily swept them, but at least would have maybe taken it in 5 or in 6, but not a close 6.
Yeah. Even before the game 6 of Toronto Tampa, I'm like, if Toronto moves on, they're going to at least the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just seemed like they were playing, like they were just playing well. Like something seemed different with them. And the way I saw Florida playing versus Washington, I'm like, I just don't trust them.
Yeah.
I trust Toronto way more. And I totally understand why Giordano signed for $800K, because I think he just sees, he's like, yo, this team's close. They're right there.
Yeah, they got potential.
And I think that them going, this Game 7 was way different than any Boston Bruins or any other Game 7 that they played, because I think they really thought, yo, we could have won that series.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, too, like, the one thing people are going to obviously say that the Leafs lost another Game 7, ha ha ha. But when you look at it, A, they were that close, and B, they also lost in Game 7 to the back-to-back champs who just swept the President's Trophy winners.
Yeah.
Like,
and even like there were so many
What do you say to
comments,
that?
like there were so many comments in like Instagram posts by NHL, Spittin' Chicklets, Puck Empire, like all these hockey accounts about Tampa going up 2-0 on Florida, like how they're outplaying Florida and all that, like when they swept them. And Toronto fans were like, I hate that we lost still, but this makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because we took this team to 7 games.
Yeah.
And they just
this team is dominating.
swept
Yeah.
the President's Trophy champs.
Yeah. Bunch of freaks.
Yeah. So I think Giordano made the right choice by not being selfish. And I think, like, Dubas got lucky, but Toronto still needs to really I make some changes to reconstruct their roster. They need a bit more bite in the top 6. Maybe whether that's some offer sheets and all that. Whatever, trades, make it happen. Just get more grit and players who can play in the top 6. And I really think this team can go on a run, like, anytime soon. So.
And one thing, too, with that, like, I think that Gio signing a contract like this, and like we already said, Spezza has, like, maybe this will start to make it a common thing. Like, I mean, yeah, Jumbo signed a cheap deal down in Florida, but living in Florida for your retirement is a little different than living in Toronto for your retirement.
Like Giordano's
But
gonna get like 40% of that taken
Yeah.
away. He's
Yeah.
literally just there to.
he's there to try to win.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, I would like to see it that a lot of guys taking discounts becomes more of a thing,
Yeah.
because
100%.
that's what guys did in Pittsburgh for years. They took discounts and
Crosby, yeah,
they won cups.
if Crosby wasn't so superstitious, he'd be making like $12 million
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
he just likes his 8-7, 8-7, 8-7.
Yeah. But you don't think like this sends a message to like Matthews and Marner and Nylander and them?
Yeah, like
Nylander waited 6 months to get $8 million.
Yeah,
It's like you wouldn't have taken 6 to maybe.
bringing in one extra guy.
Yeah.
And if everybody would have said take $2 million off their deal, you could bring in those 3 guys. I mean, if you want to say 4 with Tavares, even if it's a Miller 1.5, like,
Holy.
that was a quick goal. Yeah.
Edmonton just scored 21 seconds in. Sorry to interrupt you there, but.
Oh, all good. But they could bring in another guy that's another Nylander for
Yeah.
that much money.
Well, I mean, the next guy we have,
Yeah.
they could have brought in 1.5 of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, because what? Matthews is making 11, Marner's making 10, Tavares 11, Nylander 8.
Something like that.
roughly?
Yeah.
If you just take Tavares to
Even if
9,
you take $1 million off each one, a $4 million guy, you can get a couple. There's some good players for $4 million, right?
Yeah.
So
it's yeah. When you put it like that, it sends a message what Giordano did, and it's like, hey guys,
you want to
Like,
win?
yeah.
This is one of the
this is what
easiest
it
ways to
takes.
do it.
This is what it takes. Is take less money, because you know that the cap in the NHL is tough as it
Yeah.
is. It's hard. Like, it's hard to get around. It's not like the NFL where you can like make it signing bonuses and everything and take clear.
Or
$8
if you want to go
million.
over, you just pay a luxury tax. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a thing.
No,
So-
it's a hard cap. So, yeah. Oh, bad turnover.
No, yeah, that's on Markstrom.
Markstrom. He has not been playing well. But
No.
we'll move past this one. We'll go on to Brian Rust. Signs a 6-year, $5.125 AAV. He had 24 goals, 34 assists for 58 points in 60 games.
Is that good?
It's not bad. But what are your thoughts on this contract?
I mean, I'd say it's definitely a good contract. He's been good in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The one thing that is kind of surprising in a way is that I would have thought that maybe they would have figured out the Gino and
Letang
Letang
situation.
situation before they signed someone else. Like, I don't know, is this a Jim Benning move of we're gonna bring in OEL and Garland and extend him and Dickinson and all these guys? Oh, and then we're gonna do Petey and Hughes, or
Besser and Miller or Horvat.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where the thought is with that, but I mean, I'm sure that they must have something close with those other guys, because I wouldn't think that they would worry about,
Yeah.
especially with Sid's been as vocal as he is with the contract situation with Gino and Letang.
Mhm.
So
No, because I think this is a bargain of a contract.
Oh,
I think he certainly deserved even like $1.5 million more. And I definitely think he could have made that. But his heart was clearly in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And I agree with you. I thought Pittsburgh was going to kind of maybe at least get one of the big rocks out of the way with Letang and Malkin. But I honestly think that Rust, they wanted to show Rust that he wasn't second fiddle to those guys, even though he kind of is, but he deserves to kind of have be as big of a priority as them. I mean,
he is, just because he hasn't been there as long.
yeah. He hasn't
Right.
he doesn't have the legacy that Letang and Malkin carry. But he's a proven player on Pittsburgh. He's shown that you can trust him. And no, yeah, so I think this is a really good contract for Pittsburgh, and I think it's a team-friendly deal that Russ took, but we'll see how the rest of the contract negotiations amongst the roster in total go, because that'll honestly be Because did you hear that Gino and Letang got offered 3-year, $15 million contracts each?
And Sid said that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw something the other day about them getting offered somewhere in like the sixes each year or something.
Yeah.
So
So
they're moving it up a little, but
yeah, but I mean, like, if it's gonna take more than that, then it's gonna be really tough to bring both of them. You're gonna have to move some pieces to.
it's tough because it's kind of like the Kane Taves situation in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like that you can only take discounts for so long in a way because like
Yeah.
they've got you 3 cups. Like what? It's kind of like almost they got you your heyday. Now pay them, but at the same time, like if you pay them, then you're not winning it. You're not winning again.
Yeah.
So it's
Because Malkin's 36, Letang's 34.
yeah.
You're not gonna want to give them long-term deals.
Yeah.
But are they gonna want 3-year deals? Like, they might want more security because they might think that they have more play in them. But how much do they actually have?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's gonna be a very interesting scenario. But Rust, great contract. He's I think he's gonna be a really solid player. I think he's gonna be a close to like just under point per game player for his contract, which is I think a good $5 million player.
Do you know? Does it have? Did they come out with like no move clauses or anything like that on that?
I
trade?
haven't heard any
I
of
didn't see
the
anything either. So I don't know.
details. So
I'm sure there's probably something with that kind of security, like that kind of term. You probably have
or like a modified after
10,
3
10
years.
team or something like that, right?
Yeah. As the years get in, the teams get longer.
Yeah.
Like the list gets longer, something like that. That's very common. Unless you're Benning and he gives full no moves. Yeah.
And
Idiot.
only a 10 team.
Yeah. 5 team. Yeah, guy's an idiot. But we'll go into some series because the next point I have was talk about the series in general. But Colorado St. Louis. So Colorado is up 3-1 in the series after beating St. Louis 5-1 in the series. But what was it? 5-3? 5-2?
I want to say 5-2.
5-2 in Game 4. But I haven't talked about it since me and Corey went over and previewed the series. So we'll kind of start from the beginning. Binnington came in for Husso and was playing really solid. Like, back to his 2019 form.
Yeah.
But Kadri going for a loose puck, collides with a defender, and they both run to Binnington.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that play? Like, Kadri innocent?
I think it definitely, I mean, I have definitely, I think that our views are a little different because we don't have any real bias in that series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not a homer to either team. The way I just look at it is, I think if that's not Kadri, I don't think anybody's really talking about it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If it's anyone, it's getting swept under the rug.
Exactly.
It's just
if it was McDavid that went for a loose puck and got shoved and then that happens,
or like
it's whatever. It's brushed off.
Nugent Hopkins or
Yeah.
something like that.
Anybody. It doesn't have to be a superstar, but that was just the first name that came to my mind.
Yeah.
But I think if it's anybody else, it's brushed off to the side. It's no big deal.
It's only because Kadri has a history.
Yeah.
And people are...
And a history in the playoffs.
Yeah. And people are judging it based on his history,
Yeah.
not actually looking at the play itself.
Which is fair because a lot of times when stuff happens, they look at, does the guy have a history? But for that situation, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that play.
Because if you kind of break it down, they collided, and the first player to make contact with Binnington is the St. Louis defender.
Yeah.
And then Kadri came in after and just... Binnington was going this way and then got hit the opposite way.
Yeah.
So then it kind of just... It hurt him.
If Kadri meant to do it, it would have been a lot worse.
Like
he would have been down out of the count. You know what I mean?
Like the Lucic, we'll get to it later, but like the Lucic hit on Smith.
Yeah.
Lucic said, he's like, if I wanted to hit him, we would both not be playing next game.
Exactly. if Luch wanted to do something, it would have been bad.
Yeah. So I think Kadri, he wouldn't have gone for the defender first if he wanted to hit Binnington.
No, he would have just, if he wanted to do it, he would have gone right at him.
So I think Kadri's innocent, and it sucks because this kind of segues into my next point. But the shit and comments that Kadri has been receiving online, he's been receiving racial and death threats
Yeah.
from St. Louis fans and just fans in general, and it's sickening. It's heartbreaking seeing it, because I'm like, I can't believe someone can actually go into their phone out of their way
Yeah.
into his DMs, type that out, and press send and feel good about themselves after.
Be like, I got him. Like, you're an idiot.
What do you get out of that?
Yeah. Yeah, what's your... I don't understand. It's just sad, honestly.
It
It's
is.
sad and frustrating because, like, you feel bad for Kadri, and then it's honestly just annoying, the fact that stuff like this keeps coming up in conversations.
Yeah. I've never really been a Kadri stan,
Yeah.
because I'm mainly, he's not like a Marchand to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's more just, I just call him an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're dumb. You're
Yeah.
reckless, whatever. But he's not so much of like, I hate him, I just like some of the suspensions he's had is just like, that's just a dumb
You don't
play.
hate him, you just hate some of the stuff that he's done.
It's more like, you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think.
Yeah.
That's how I carried Kadri. But like, seeing this, I've never been on a player's side more than Kadri, because I look at it and I'm like, the play was not dirty at all. It was a hockey play. He was going for a loose puck. Defender went to hit him. He went to hit the defender, and they both went into Binnington. It is what it is.
Exactly.
Shit happens. But to go out of your way into someone's DMs and, like, I don't know if you saw his
I didn't see any
wife's,
of them, but...
they were, like, I saw a tweet, and his wife didn't scratch out the usernames, too. She put everyone on blast.
As she should.
And she was like, this is just, like, a small percentage of the DMs that...
And that's probably what she probably posted is one of the nicer things. Like, I guess not nicer, but just not as bad things.
Yeah. And some of the stuff, it was gross.
Yeah.
And to think that this is still happening over a fucking game.
It's a game. And at the end of the day, it's a game. Yeah.
And it's it's heartbreaking, and I feel so bad for Kadri, and the fact that he still has to go through this in 2022. It's unbelievable. It's embarrassing I'm not saying all St. Louis Blues fans are like this, because they're not.
Oh, yeah.
But this doesn't leave a good reputation on them.
It's like when the Canucks fans all rioted after the Stanley Cup. It was an embarrassing thing for every Canucks fan, because you're like, I have the same, I cheer for the same team as these people, and these people are destroying the city.
Yeah.
It's somewhat on the same aspect of that. Like, you somewhat resonate with these people, and now I look like an idiot because of this guy or this person.
It's terrible, and I hope the way. Oh my! Kadri just blew up Hyman, I think, or Cassian. Oh my! That was insane. Who dodged that?
I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah, Cassian went around the net to go hit somebody, and they dodged it, and he just demolished Hyman.
That was a massive hit. Holy.
That's gonna be on misplays of the month.
Yeah, 100%.
They're both in pain, eh?
Oh, it was like Archibald or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a door off.
Oh my gosh. That was unbelievable. Yeah, Cassian felt that one.
Look at the trainers are all laughing.
And for Cassian to feel that.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy.
That's hilarious. Love to see that.
Yeah, where were we? I lost my train of thought from that. Like,
We were talking about Kadri and the whole crappy situation, but
and then like in the interview, like Kadri's like, I think Binnington just threw a water bottle at me.
yeah.
And I think that's just Binnington being frustrated.
Yeah.
But I like for all the aftermath, and we'll kind of move on from it because we don't want to be a dead horse or sound like a broken record. But whatever fan base you're a fan of, you should never be reaching out to a player who hurts your team in any way, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be doing that, no matter what he did. It was a freak accident. And
if you're that person that has those, I don't even know the word to call those thoughts, type out a message to yourself, look at it, read it, go, nobody needs to see this, and then delete it. Like,
because you will get nothing out of it.
yeah.
You could lose your job because of it. Your entire life could be ruined from it, and you get nothing out of it.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
You gain nothing from it. So the fact that St. Louis fans who did, even like hockey fans in general, whoever messaged Kadri about that, you should be embarrassed about yourselves.
Yeah.
And karma's going to come and bite you in the ass, because Kadri did not deserve that in any way. But we'll stick on the subject, because Kadri got his revenge and ultimately shoved it right up their hoop, because he scored a hattie right after.
Yeah, next game.
And one of the points, Perron got fined $5,000 for the cross check on Kadri, and that was one of the, like, this is when I was like, I'm not even like a huge fan of Kadri, but I'm totally on his side here.
Mm-hmm.
Kadri was just ran into Perron, may have thrown him a little hit, but it could have also been like a self-defense. Oh, like when you're,
I just hurt their goalie, guys are going to come after me.
and even like when you're skating looking this way,
Yeah.
and you see someone's in your way, you immediately,
You like tense up. You're
and like
bracing.
sometimes you just hit. It's
Yeah.
a natural thing. So
Yeah, fight or flight.
yeah, so he just does that, and then he's not doing any talking, whatever. He's not going for it anymore. Buchnevich just absolutely bowls him over, and then Perron comes in with one of the greasiest cross checks and punches to the head. Kadri took an absolute beating, and then he goes on to score the 5-on-3 power play goal.
Just like,
And dodges a disgusting attempt of an elbow from Perron.
yeah.
Which, I don't know about you, but I think that could have been suspendable
Yeah.
from the attempt alone. But
I just love I don't think there's anything better in sports that when something happens to you that you're not deserved or warranted at all, that you go out there the next shift and you just stick it right to them by scoring.
Yeah.
Like, what more can you do in this sport? Like, I mean, obviously, if it's some guy, you could be like, all right, let's fight, and you beat him up.
yeah,
But in the actual name of the game kind of thing, go out there and just score a goal on him. There's nothing better than that.
yeah. And like, I was honestly questioning whether or not Kadri was going to make it out alive, because I thought he was, like, St. Louis would be so frustrated that he's like shoving it right in their face. Like, you can get at me all you want, but I just keep scoring off your mistakes. So
Exactly.
doing what I literally thought he was going to get
Yeah.
like shot.
Yeah. Just they're already mad, and then you keep scoring on them.
Yeah.
You're just pissing them off even more.
Exactly. But also, Berube was probably like, guys, just play hockey. Stop trying to attack him, because because people forget, Kadri's a good player on his own. He's a skilled hockey player. It's not like you're riling up
He's not a third liner. Like
Juho Lammikko.
Yeah.
Like, it's Kadri he almost had 100 points this year.
Yeah.
He's no slouch.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so Kadri scores 3 goals. Colorado wins. But what have him, like, I want to go through all my points here. But I'm happy that Kadri got his revenge, because that's beautiful. Sammy Girard is out for the rest of the playoffs, rest of the season, with a broken sternum. I don't know if you saw that hit, but that was...
He got sandwiched.
Yeah, he got crunched.
Yeah.
And is Krug on the verge of returning? He seemed like he was skating again, practicing with the team. But I want to ask, like, is there any way that St. Louis can, like, come back into the series? Like, do you have any thought of, like, what they got to do to get back into this before we move on?
Honestly, I think it's over.
Yeah.
I think that Colorado up 3-1, like,
Going back to Colorado.
Good luck. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I could say St. Louis got to score more goals than Colorado does, but
That's hard.
yeah.
Yeah, but Colorado's just they will be down 1-0 but being dominating the game.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, I think Colorado's one of like the few teams in NHL that could honestly be down 3-1 going into a third period and still like they've got a shot at winning
you
the
go
game.
on Betway and they're favored to win.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's like when I remember when it was the Leafs Tampa series. It was game 6 before the game. Tampa was favored to win, but the Leafs were favored to win the series. And I was like, so you're telling me that I can bet on the Leafs favored to win the series, but Tampa's going to win this game? How does this make sense? That'd be like Colorado going into the third period being down and being favored to win. Like,
Yeah.
which wouldn't surprise me.
No, it's me and my dad were talking about this and he was like, it's weird. Like and I think Colorado's up like 3-1 at this point. He's like, it's weird. I haven't heard McKinnon at all. And I'm like, isn't that just scarier? McKinnon isn't doing anything, but they're
Yeah.
dominating and winning 3-1. And he's like, that's exactly it.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
The fact that you don't need McKinnon to be on his A game to, like,
Yeah.
stomp on, like, they were out shooting St. Louis 25-9 and down 1-0.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this gonna be another Florida? Is St. Louis gonna win this
They're
game?
like the Florida of the
Yeah.
West Conference. Like, they're just...
But they've just been capitalizing on their chances. Yeah. Like they were down 1-0. I'm like, damn, St. Louis might steal this.
Yeah.
Colorado scores 3 goals in like 7 minutes. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
I take that back, I guess. But no, I agree with you. I think Colorado takes it next game in Colorado. That crowd's just going to be crazy.
I think even if Colorado loses, then this one, like, I think the series is it's Colorado's to lose.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And they're just a wagon right now. Like they're just dominating on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel bad for Kemper because he can never stay in the game because Colorado's always down there and he never gets consistent shots.
How do you stay in the game when you're not getting any action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why Kemper's letting in soft goals is because I haven't gotten a shot in 6 minutes.
Well, that was like Markstrom when game 1 of the Edmonton-Calgary series there. Like, I can't remember. The shots were outrageous, like one-sided. And then Markstrom let in like 2 goals on 10 shots or something like that. But it's like, yeah, the guy hasn't faced rubber in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, he got peppered at once.
Yeah.
And he's just been standing there.
Yeah, it's like, give me a break here.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? So, yeah, Colorado's just shrekking.
Yeah.
And they're still my cup pick. Like, I just don't see anyone really slowing down Colorado. But we'll move on to the first second-round series that's ended. Tampa Bay, Florida. Tampa sweeps. Are they going to three-peat? As much as we were just talking about no one beating Colorado, but they swept the President's Trophy winners without their top center.
I said it
Think
the other day.
about that.
I said the first cup they won without Stamkos. This last one, they did a lot of it without Cooch. Now they're going to do this one without Point. They're going to win next year without Hedman. Like, they're just going to go through the lineup.
They're going to win 5 in a row,
Yeah.
each without one of their best players.
Yeah. And then Vasilevsky after that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a joke.
It's like a lot of people were like, okay, Florida's winning, Braden Point's not there. They looked stronger than, like, without Point than with Point.
Yeah.
Which I thought was impossible.
They're a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like, they went GTA 4 mode, pulled out the phone, did a bunch of random codes, looked it up online, pressed OK, and all of a sudden the helicopter appeared and they swept Florida.
Yeah. Like, they have 10 straight series wins, 40 wins, 16 losses in those series. And Vasilevsky, in his past 7 series clinching games, he has 6 shutouts. 200 shots on, 1 goal allowed.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
He's like when you would create a player in NHL and make him 99 and like 6'11", 280 and would just dominate. But
Put
in
all
real
the
life,
sliders
and
down
goalie.
on CPU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, We used to think we were so good at Xbox.
And then
We're
we'd
dominating.
and then we'd play proper, and
We'd play against like Ty or one of those guys, and they just
Like, what the
wreck us.
fuck?
We're like,
That was so
man, we were
good."
so good yesterday.
Yeah.
But literally, that's Vasilevsky. He's just he's a freak.
Yeah. Did you watch Game 4?
I just caught the highlights.
It was unbelievable. Like,
I just saw the stat. I was watching the stats all day, and then I caught the highlights at the end.
Tampa scores, goals disallowed because
Yep.
it hits the netting. Tampa scores again shortly after Sorelli hand pass.
Yeah.
I saw this funny tweet from Pete Blackburn. He's like, the score's 0-0 going into the third overtime. Tampa scored 16 goals. I'm like, that's so true. That's what the pace was going. And then the goal that Patrick Maroon does score.
When I saw it was Patty Maroon that was the one that scored, I was like, it's over.
It was the dumbest goal I've ever seen. And I thought, at first glance, I thought it was high stick. But he reaches over Bobrovsky and just hits it down.
Yeah.
And then it just bounces in.
I said to Avery, I said, Tampa finally scored. And he goes, who was it? And he goes, Pat. I said, Patty Maroon. And he goes, that's just demoralizing. Like, and like the fact that they had like 40 shots on net, they can't get one in, and then Patty Maroon is the one that buries one. Like,
no, because I
That's
saw,
it.
like, because NHL posted, like, shortly after, or, like, some account on Instagram, or tweeted it, and someone was like, that would be the goal that Tampa scores to take the lead. I'm like, it's true.
yeah.
It's true. There's those greasy ones, but what I wanted to say about Tampa is, like, the way they just, like, reconstructed their roster after losing so much last offseason. Like, the way Patty Maroon's come up clutch. Nick Paul, that deadline acquisition has been stellar. Toronto's father, Nick Paul. But who else was it?
Hagel from Chicago.
Yeah, Hagel. Oh, man. His name is slipping. Ross Colton.
Yep.
Like, the way that they're just integrating these new guys, and they're just taking the next step after everyone counted them out last offseason.
Yep.
It's just,
even like you say about Maroon, like that Maroon, Perry, and I can't remember who the other one is.
Belmar?
Is that who it is?
Pierre-Edouard Belmar.
That fourth line, like they're
Like,
still finding ways to be effective in all their games.
Corey Perry has 5 goals these playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's the way Tampa, I kept talking about it with Chris at Leo's and my dad, and it's just, they just know how to win. They just know how to win. When it comes down to it, it's just,
well, like you said, like they reconstructed what they needed on their roster. Everything else is the exact same. They're still the same 2-time Stanley Cup winning team. Like,
and this time around, no one can say shit about what they're doing. They can all fans have is just, they just have to accept what's happening in front of them and don't take it for granted, because you're not going to see this.
What are you gonna say? Oh, they beat the team that has the 60 goal scorer. Oh, they beat the team that was the best team in the league this year. Now what? Like,
and they didn't do the
and now they're gonna have to,
they didn't do the cap circumvention like they did last year,
Exactly.
which Tampa tried
to get the
outlawing it.
Exactly.
And they were just like, okay, you don't want it outlawed, we're just gonna do it.
Okay, we'll take advantage of it. And then now they're gonna play against Carolina or New York. And do you think that either of those teams are gonna stop Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, like, I do like Carolina. I think they're very well coached, but the way Tampa's playing, like, and this break couldn't have come at a better time.
The fact that that's the one thing I said coming into this round could get them, is that they are an older team coming off of a 7-game series to a team in Florida that has had a break.
Yeah,
that could wreck them. Like, not like needing that time off. I'm an idiot. Like, made me look like a real dummy saying that, right?
Yeah, you just got to eat your words at that point.
I was just like, I think I was talking to Matt Nelson about it, and I was like, yeah, like, you know, they could get them. The fact that, I mean, Florida's not a young team either, but having that break versus not having the break, 2 older teams. I mean, obviously they have lots of young guys.
And, like, Toronto kind of put Tampa to work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They were fighting for their lives.
Yeah. 4 games later.
Yeah.
Florida's golfing and Tampa's
Yeah.
resting up for round 3.
Exactly. Round 3 against, if it's New York,
I think
okay, Tampa's got the...
it might be another sweep.
What's the trophy in the Prince of Wales?
I don't know.
I think that's what it is,
Yeah.
or something, whatever it is, trophy. And
Carolina, I honestly think it could be a really tough time.
Carolina could have a chance, but if it's New York, then
Yeah, I mean, like, if New York's not on the power play, they're not scoring.
yeah, exactly.
It's as easy as that. And Tampa just...
And we just watched New York have 0 shots on their power play. So
Yeah. Yeah. So...
against Vasi too. Like,
Vasi's just a machine.
yeah.
You know, you remember Iron Man, was it 1 or 2? When, like, his bodyguard...
Makes his own.
Makes his own. Is that first one or second one?
I haven't seen him in forever, but I know what you're talking about.
That's Vasi. Is the bigger machine that...
Yeah. That just doesn't stop running. He's a truck.
Yeah. It's the stat of...
All of his stats.
Like, yeah. Just
all of them.
In the past 7 series clinching games.
He dominates.
200 shots against, 1 goal.
Yeah.
That's a .995 save percentage in series clinching games. 6 shutouts. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He's the best playoff goalie to ever live, and no one can argue it.
Yeah.
No one can argue it. But actually, one thing I do want to ask, because this was big in game 3. I don't know if you saw it, but the goalie interference that wasn't called on Cirelli when he
going against at Bob.
Yeah,
I heard about it.
When his butt hit Bobrovsky. Have you seen it? Pull up your phone and
Is that the one where he's going across the net?
He's screening Bobrovsky, and he kind of going across, but I want you to watch it because I have an opinion, and I don't know if I'm just an idiot, but I don't think that it was goal interference because Cirelli was doing everything he is allowed to do. He was standing outside the blue paint, screening the goalie. Half of Bobrovsky's body is outside the blue paint, and his head hits Cirelli's pants. There's nothing more Cirelli can do. Bobrovsky initiated the contact, and then the goal was scored. So, yeah, I want to... You got it.
Not having much dice here.
No? Okay, but yeah, I wanted to just say this on record at least, and I'll let you find it, but the goalie interferences these playoffs have been really weird. There's been more than I've ever seen in my life, and it's getting to the point where in the NFL, like, you know, in the NFL when it's like, what's a catch nowadays? Like, it's hard to know what's a catch. Like, if the ball bobbles the slightest bit when you hit the ground, is it a catch or whatever?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, is it going to count because was it goal interference? Like, no one knows anymore. But when you tell a player, don't go in the blue paint, it won't be a goal. Cirelli was outside the blue paint, screening the goalie. Bobrovsky initiates contact, and half of his leg, or like half of his body's outside the blue paint, and people are saying it was goal interference. Like, what more can Cirelli do?
Yeah. There definitely has been a lot of issues with the goal interference and like the consistency of the calls the last, I'd say, year.
Yeah.
I think it was the start of this year that, like, at the All-Star break, there was a big meeting about goal interference calls and what is and what isn't a goal interference. And it's... I said to my dad, or maybe it was my dad that brought it up. I was telling the guys the other day, we were talking about it. And, like, why is it so difficult? Like, there needs to be a blatant, like, black and white rule. Like, okay, if there's like a checklist of 3 things, and if there's this, like, and this, then it's goal interference. But if you're missing one of them, it isn't. You know?
Yeah.
Like, is he outside the blue paint? Yes. Did the goalie initiate contact? Yes. Okay, well then that, like, if the player initiates contact, then yes, it's goal interference. If the goalie initiates the contact, then, you know,
Exactly. I wanna.
you got it there.
But like,
Like, what is?
here, I'll rewind it here. Let me show that. I'm trying to put a full screen. This is kind of bad podcasting, but like Sorelli's outside the blue paint.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, there's like, I just
And
don't.
they called that goal interference.
No, they
Left
didn't.
It. Yeah.
But people
But
were
people
saying
were-
it was, and I just don't think there's, like, Sorelli's doing what he's allowed to do.
Yeah.
He's allowed to screen. He's allowed to. I just don't think it was.
I think that's one of those ones too where you call it what it is
And just eat it.
There's gonna be people that are gonna be sad that it's called, and there's gonna be people that are like the opposite reaction. You know, people are gonna be like, "What the hell? That was
Yeah.
goal interference," and the people that are gonna say, "What the hell are you talking about? That
Yeah.
wasn't goal interference." And that's
Yeah.
just
It's the
sometimes
nature of the
there's
game.
that's just the calls that are called. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just
No.
whatever. It depends what side you're on.
100%. We'll go to the one that we're watching right now, Calgary Edmonton. So Calgary's leading the series 2-1. They're currently up 2-0 in Game 4. But what have been your thoughts on this series?
A mess.
Unpredictable.
First game was beer league.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like-
real.
Like, that was like watching one of my beer league lacrosse games. Like, one team just dominates forever, and then another team all of a sudden goes down, scores a bunch, and then all of a sudden the other team starts scoring a bunch again. And goaltending, like, I think I could have done just as much in net.
Yeah.
Like, it was a wreck. And I mean, we've had 2 games that teams have scored 6 so far, 6-4 the other night, right?
Yeah.
and then 9-6.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, they scored their second goal like 2 minutes in, or halfway through the first period here.
Yeah.
Like, defense is not a thing in this series, apparently.
It's negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's non-existent. But I was at Yellow Dog Brewery when this game started, and I got the notification. Friedman, he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, Calgary Edmonton game 1 started now." I look 15 minutes later, Sportsnet app, 3-0 Calgary. I'm like, what happened here? And 2 goals in the opening minute. I'm like,
Yeah, and then it got to like, what, 5-2? Oh.
it got to 5-1, and
5-1.
I was leaving Yellow Dog at 5-1, drove 5 minutes down the road. I was at a light, saw a tweet from Friedman, 6-4. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I think it was the goal that they made it 6-3. I said to Ty, Edmonton's going to tie it up here, I think. Like, Edmonton might win this game.
yeah.
Sure as shit, they actually tied it up, and it was like, what is going on? Like,
I think out of the first 13 goals, I saw one of them.
yeah.
I'm like, what is happening? This isn't hockey.
No.
This isn't professional hockey.
Literally, that's like back in the day when we used to go out to your guys' games. Like, that would even be high scoring for those games.
Yeah.
Like,
And no one could play hockey in that level.
exactly. Like, yeah, I don't even know what to say for that. Like, it honestly just shocking because
Yeah.
it wasn't even like the shots were like outrageously like high shooting.
Yeah.
Like, if the game finished like 60 shots to 45 shots, I would have been like, yeah, you know what, 9-6, like, that's a lot of shot. That's a lot of rubber. Like, you're not going to save all those. But for like an average shots game, maybe a little bit higher than average shots game. But I don't know.
I
mean, it's fun to watch when there's lots
Yeah,
of goals, but it almost
100%.
got to the point where it was like, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, no one can buy a save.
Yeah.
But watching this series just shows how much, like, of an MVP like player Jake Ottinger was.
Yeah.
Like, they lost what, 3-2 or 4-3 in the game 6, or when Calgary beat Dallas.
Yeah.
There was like 67 shots against Ottinger, and he made 64 saves.
Well, it was like the game 1 of this series. Calgary scored 9. They scored 9, then it took them until game 7 of that previous series to score 9 in the series.
Did you hear that quote from
Sutter?
Yeah, I told the guys they need to score 7 to 10 goals this game. We got told the last series was boring, so I told them that we had to score 7 to 10 goals this game. Yeah, that was hilarious.
He's just a quote machine.
I was just about to say that, absolute quote machine. But there's a couple things I want to ask your opinion about.
Yep.
Tkachuk. So Shillington gets a penalty, and then Kane and Tkachuk get matching penalties. But Tkachuk leaves the box before Kane ends up scoring the go-ahead goal.
Yeah.
What was your... Confusing as hell, a rule I've never heard of before.
Watching that, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like,
why is this allowed?
We were all talking, like, trying to come up with theories of, like, why this was able to happen.
Yeah.
And then, I can't remember, I think it was someone on Twitter I saw that, like, kind of tweeted out the rule book, but in dummied down terms enough for us that it was like, since it's coincidentals, they can pick who comes out first.
Yeah, Friedman tweeted, since Calgary got coincidentals, they can choose who goes out first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the dumbest rule I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. You would think it's whoever, like,
but
whatever, like, 'cause there's, unless they can go down the line and then, like, see two refs going at the same time, raising their hand and pointing at a guy, and, like, they're actually calling them at the exact same time, whichever one you call first, like, yeah, they're going to go down on the score sheet at 16:04 of the second period, but clearly one was called first.
For me, my thing is, whatever penalties are matching, like Kane and Tkachuk got the same penalty.
Yeah.
They should serve. They should both serve.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard one, though, and it was like, whatever is the first penalty for each team called is the coincidentals. Or, so Shillington was the first penalty on Calgary, and Kane was the first penalty on Edmonton.
So they should cancel?
So they cancel out, and Tkachuk is the... And I was like, that's a bit more understandable,
I get it,
but that's
no.
still dumb.
But it's still not, they're not coincidentals.
There's two separate penalties.
If there's two roughing in the corner, you're not going to say, oh yeah, Shillington's high stick from way back there is the coincidental with his roughing. It's like, well, no, he was punching Tkachuk in the face.
Yeah.
Like,
and Tkachuk was punching Kane in the face.
Exactly. It's...
I thought it was so dumb. Because,
silly, but like...
Yeah, because when I saw Tkachuk celebrating, I'm like, what? Why is Kane still in the box? And what is happening?
Yeah. It was one of those ones where I think it's just one of those rules that nobody knew. And when it finally came into play, everyone's like, the fuck is this? And then it's like, well, why is that the rule? Like,
yeah. It's
tough, though, because I do understand, like, if I'm Calgary, I'm going, well, yeah, I'm going to take, like, a Tkachuk go out first.
Yeah.
But if I'm Edmonton, I'm going, well, why isn't Shillington? But at the same time, it's like, well, Shillington was the first one, so he should go. Like, I don't know.
Do you think this could be like a...
Like warrant a rule change?
Warrant a rule change?
I don't...
Or is it...
Like, what do you change? Like... Because...
The fucking wording of the rule.
Right? Like, because that's the thing is, like, when you look at the score sheet, the penalties are going to say the same time. So
or don't change the rule, get rid of the rule.
Yeah, it would have...
You should not be allowed to choose who goes out first. The refs choose who goes out first.
It should just be... Shillington had the first penalty. Shillington's the first one out.
Make it black and white. Yeah. Tkachuk and Kane are going to the box for the same reason. Yeah. They serve the same amount of time. The guy who's not going for the same reason, he goes out first.
Exactly.
Boom. Yeah. Simple as. Everyone's happy.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Everybody knows what's going on.
The fact that Calgary's like, yeah, I'm going to choose our 100-point player, 40-goal scorer to go out first.
Yeah.
Clearly.
If they don't score a goal, do you think anybody says anything?
I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
But it's the principle.
Yeah, it's the idea of it.
It's for situations like that.
Yeah. Yeah, to prevent I guess not to prevent, but like if they changed the rule, it would be to prevent from that happening
Like
again.
if Shillington scored, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
he was out first.
Yeah, but the fact that Kane had to wait for the whistle and
Yeah.
Shillington was just like, it just
Yeah.
didn't make sense. It's a dumb rule, and we touched on it before, but the Lucic hit, we both agree it wasn't dirty because he could have done much worse. I think he let up, and also Mike Smith, he kind of looked like he sold it a bit.
He's known to embellish.
Yeah.
And
I just think I think a 5 in a game for them, it's fine. It's like we'll leave it at that.
I think it was
so that nothing gets worse
exactly
throughout the game. But I think I agree with the NHL, player safety, all that. It didn't warrant supplementary discipline.
Definitely not.
And I hate Lucic as much as the next guy, but
which I do think is tough though, because if I'm Lucic and you're gonna tell me that, okay, well you got kicked out, but it wasn't worth a suspension or a fine, because guys can get suspended and not get suspended and get like a small slap on the wrist fine.
David Perron.
Exactly. So you're gonna tell me that he got kicked out of the game but doesn't warrant a fine? Like, how many guys get kicked out and don't get a fine or a suspension, right?
Yeah, maybe.
It's tough.
Yeah. Do you know when in the game it happened?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Was him getting kicked out?
Was it like 5?
His suspension?
Was it under the 10-minute mark kind of thing? I don't know.
Because sometimes they do that.
Yeah.
It's like if you're kicked out early enough, that's your game suspension because you missed the entire thing. Maybe that was
maybe that
his
was their
punishment.
thought.
But like, I just think that there was an attempt to let up,
100%.
and that's exactly what they're looking for all the time.
He skated into the zone because the puck was dumped,
It's
and he
Mike
was chasing
Smith
after.
Decision to
play the puck,
turn,
knowing that Lucic, he knew well in advance that Lucic was coming in.
Yeah.
He slows. He comes in. He skates out, turns around, skates behind his net, tries to like shield it off, and then tries to like almost box out Lucic, and it's like,
it's not gonna work, bud.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
And Lucic is gliding from before this face-off circle.
Yeah.
Like,
and I saw like
and if you're Lucic, what are you supposed to just stop?
Yeah.
Just let him play the puck and try to. I said to my dad, I said, if Lucic, picture this, Lucic skates to the red line, basically, the goal line, stops and starts trying to stick check Mike Smith, what's going to happen? Smith's going to move the puck, and then he's going to take his stick, and he's going to chop Lucic in the back of the leg for, like, hacking him in the arm or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said earlier, if Lucic wanted to hit Smith, we're quoting Lucic here. He said, if I wanted to hit Smith, we would both not be playing next game.
Yeah. If he wanted,
Smith would be dead and Lucic would be suspended.
I think it was Avery said, if he wanted to, Lucic would have skated off the ice after fighting somebody, and and Smith would have got stretchered off the ice. Like, his head would have been through the boards.
Yeah. So I think everything was handled correctly.
100%.
And to end this off, McDavid is playing like God. 23 points in 10 games.
I think he has 1 assist so far in this one.
Yeah.
Like,
23 and 10. And did you hear that Sid stat?
No.
When he won I can't remember what cup it was. I think it was his first one.
09, I think.
Yeah. He won the Conn Smythe with 24 points in 19 games? Or 21 points in 24 games.
And
McDavid has 20 points in 9 games or
Yeah.
something like that.
That's stupid.
I can't remember it exactly. But yeah, it was 6 goals, 19 assists in like 20 games.
Yep.
And McDavid has 6 goals, 23 points in 10 games.
Yeah. He's a freak.
Yeah,
and he's playing like so many people say, like, you know, your big guy's got to play when it matters kind of thing, and he is playing when it matters.
Yeah, he's playing like how the best player in the world should be playing.
Yeah, he's still playing like he's the 124. What was it? 124 points or something like that he had this season.
123.
123.
Yeah.
He's still playing the same. He hasn't slowed down.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see it because I love it when a player lives up to his hype.
Yeah.
Like if he was playing disappointing, then I'd be like, McDavid's good, but like, is he ever gonna be able to win the cup?
Yeah.
I don't think Edmonton's gonna win, but goddamn, does he deserve it? Because
He couldn't be playing any worse than he is.
my dog would be barking right now, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Gosh, this guy. But yeah, McDavid is a god, and he is playing far and above anyone else in the league right now, and carrying Edmonton.
Yeah.
Carrying Edmonton. Last series here, New York, Carolina. What have been your thoughts on this one?
Honestly, haven't really caught many of the games because they're always they play before Calgary,
Yeah.
and most of the time I'm golfing before the Calgary games
Fair.
start.
Fair enough.
And so I just kind of see the highlights.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised that it's 2-2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that Carolina was going to wipe them, honestly.
I had Carolina in six, but following the track record, it seems like it's a home team's taking it,
Yeah.
which has been the entire playoffs for Carolina.
Yeah. They
When
need to win away games.
When they played in Boston, only the home team won.
Yeah.
So Carolina's like one game above 500 in these playoffs right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, they need to start winning some away games. And last time I saw it, they were 0-8 on the power play this series.
Yeah.
And like that's not helping.
Look at Florida.
Exactly.
Their power play stunk this playoffs.
Yeah.
The one thing too with like even if in the situation, I guess, because it'll go back to Carolina now, so Carolina could just win the home games and win the series. But does Carolina, coming off a 7-game series, beat Tampa Bay that's had rest?
And not able to win
A home game? Or an away game, sorry.
an away game, and Tampa never loses back-to-backs.
Yeah, like I said that actually when Tampa went up 2-0. I said they're done, and then my dad was like, "Why?" I said, "Well, they don't lose back-to-back games. It's impossible now. The only way to beat them is to go win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. Like,
Yeah.
unless you're gonna beat them back-to-back, unless you're gonna beat them every other game, starting with the first one.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting because Carolina looks like a complete juggernaut at home.
Yeah,
But Tampa is just, they're dogs in themselves and don't lose back-to-back games.
Mm-hmm.
And if it comes to a series clinching game, it's hard to score on Vassy, so you can't go down in the series.
and I'm gonna say, imagine this: you're Tampa Bay, it's Game 6, you have a chance to win the series, you lose in Carolina. They do that stupid storm surge. That's just motivation
Bulletin board material.
Exactly, for them to destroy you. They're gonna beat them 10-0 in a Game 7 if
Yeah.
it came to it. Like, I don't. I do think Carolina beats the Rangers.
Yeah.
I want the Rangers to beat Carolina. But whoever comes out of that series is just gonna lose to Tampa Bay.
It's going to be like, or at least it's just, it's going to be so hard.
Yeah,
If you're going to beat Tampa, you're going to have to scratch.
it's gonna have to be in 7.
You're going to have to scratch and crawl your way out of that.
And if it's not in Game 7, you're gonna be in the quadruple overtime of Game 6.
Yeah, because the only time a team won 2 in a row in the Tampa-Toronto series was Tampa 6 and 7, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. I said to my dad, I said either Tampa's going to win in 7 or the Leafs are going to win in 7. That was after Game 5 because I said they need to they're going to lose and then win or they're going to lose and then lose
Yeah.
for Toronto because they're not going to beat them back to back.
Yeah. So, but to stick with this, like, Kako has been an absolute ghost, and it's really kind of hard to see for a second overall pick. And like, what do you if you're a Rangers fan, how are you feeling about that when your second overall pick isn't really performing? He had a career year this year. He had like 38 points.
Very different player styles, but it's just like Jake Virtanen in Vancouver. Like You just kind of keep holding on to it, or like Yolevi, like, oh, he's like, at least Vertanen played in Vancouver. Yolevi got hurt and was back in Europe and whatever,
Yeah.
down in the minors. But it's just like you kind of just, I feel like they're just holding on to the fact, like, oh, he'll be a superstar one day.
They're holding on to the second overall.
Yeah, they're
thing.
holding on to like the selection that they made.
Yeah.
It's not the player that the player is, but it's, well, he was second overall. He's going to be good at some point.
Yeah. How long can you hold on to that for?
How many second overalls have been like
Yeah.
underachieving like that in previous year, like the last few years, right?
Because as much as he's not performing like a first overall, Lafreniere has been playing really good these playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, he's showing a lot more than just skill. Like, he's showing tenacity, and
And
he's
this
showing
is his
like
first full NHL
Yeah.
season.
and he's showing like he wants, like he has the grit to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, has he been performing like a first overall usually does? No. Has he been kind of underperforming overall as a player? Yes, but you notice him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kakko is a complete ghost, and even given opportunity to play with like Zibanejad, Panarin, Kreider,
Yeah.
Kopp, like all those guys who are competent line mates and very, very, very some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
He's still not putting out anything. So I'd be worried if I'm a Rangers fan,
100%.
especially when it comes down to like what you play for playoffs. Like if he was a ghost in the regular season but showing up in the playoffs, at least he's doing it now.
Yeah,
But the fact that he wasn't doing it during the regular season and the playoffs, it's like
what is he in? How many years has he been in the league now?
he was Jack Hughes' year, so I think he's in his third year. I think he had like 38 points this year.
That's
Search up someone different.
DV, not DB. Tried to do hockey DB.
Gotcha.
Kaapo Kakko, 66 games, 13 points. 23 points. 48 games, 17 points. 43 games, 18 points. For a total of 157 games and 58 points. Which, like,
In his career
so
so far, like that's
like,
not
as a
good.
young guy in the NHL, that's not bad. But as a second overall pick, that's buns.
Even as a young guy in the NHL, that's still not very
10 goals, 9 goals, 7 goals.
like
In 66, 48, 53.
at least like Jack Hughes, you see the superstar player in him.
Yeah. He has
He's-
you see his highlights sometimes and it's like, damn, like, he's got some tricks up his sleeve kind of thing. Like, there's glimpses of this guy's going to be good. When have you seen that from Kaapo Kakko?
Yeah. So, like, especially now in the playoffs and when you're going to need the most, even strength scoring has been, like, the downside of New York. Like, if they're not on the power play, then you're rarely going to see a lot of goals. They rely on Shesterkin a lot. Kakko, man, you've been given the opportunities over and over again. You need to start capitalizing on them.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, that's what worries me about New York. Is because, like, if one thing's not working for them, like, if they can't get a save from Shesterkin, we saw it many times in the Pittsburgh series.
Yeah.
They had so many things go their way, and it took a third-string goalie, no Crosby for a game, and overtime in Game 7 to get past Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if they're not getting a save,
Wasn't
and
it-
even strength
Wasn't there
scoring-
one other guy that was hurt? That it was, Jari on 1 foot, basically.
DeSmith.
DeSmith was out.
Yeah.
Jari came back and played on a broken foot.
Oh, Ricard Raquel
Raquel.
came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 3 broken guys.
And Brian Dumoulin got hurt.
yeah. So those guys all in the lineup, and you just squeeze past them.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's like, as much as the Rangers, like, they have the New York type of team.
yeah.
They have the glamour,
Yeah.
but it's just like, it's rare that you see them like show up when it matters. And
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, they won 2 in a row versus Carolina, but Carolina hasn't really proved like they're a good road team, which they're relying heavy on that home ice advantage. Because if it was the other way, then they'd be out in 7.
Yeah.
At this rate. So New York, you just got to get some even strength in secondary scoring, especially from your second overall pick from 3 years ago, because right now he ain't doing any. He's playing like a fourth round pick right now. Pretty sure like Chason had same amount of points as Kako this year, if not maybe more.
It's my guy.
What did Chason have this year?
Chason.
Let's see. And Kako had what, 17 points this year? Somewhere around there?
Something like that. You want to take a guess at Chason's stats from this season?
I think he had 16 points. No, he had like 10 goals. I think he had like 21 points.
22 points. 67 games, so he did play like 20 more games.
But
he's also a fourth
PTO.
liner,
PTO
signing off a
player.
PTO, league minimum, like
Not
zero expectation.
not
Which who
sec-
knows? Maybe that's what it is. It's just being a
He has nothing to lose.
second overall pick, playing in the city of New York.
Yeah.
Like,
But no, yeah, how do you see the Carolina Rangers series finishing? And how can either team, what does each team have to do to kind of win and close out the series?
well, for New York, it's just if Igor's got to be playing. If Igor's not playing, then
They're
they're hooped.
Yeah.
Yeah, Igor's got to be playing for New York. I want to see New York win.
And they just
like-
got to get even strength scoring too.
Exactly. Like you just said though, like Carolina at home, they seem like they can't lose at home,
Yeah.
and the series is in favor for them to win in Game 7 at home. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Igor's got to steal a game in Carolina for them to win.
Yeah. No, I totally
And
agree.
I think it would be interesting because there's the talk of Anderson coming back at some point.
Yeah, he traveled with the team
Yeah.
to New York.
If Anderson's healthy, do you put him in not playing for how long he hasn't played for?
Depends. If they're down 3-2, then like is it a Jari situation with Pittsburgh?
Right? Like, how do you not bring back your starter? But if he hasn't played,
but
in
also
forever, right?
Ranta isn't Louis Domingue.
No.
Ranta is a lot more.
Oh, 100%.
Like if Casey DeSmith was playing,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have put Jari in.
No, I don't think so.
It's just that,
It's
Louis-
going from your third goalie to your starter.
yeah. So I honestly think they just ride Ranta.
I think they ride Ranta too.
until a series break.
Yeah.
Until like Freddie's fully healthy.
And then if they win Game 1 against Tampa, you put Freddie in. And if he starts to get lit up, you go right back to Ranta.
Yeah.
And and I think Ranta would understand that going. I mean, he'd be pissed off because he's like, I got you here. But I think if you're Brindamore, you probably go back to your guy.
Yeah.
Like
Freddie should have been a Vezina candidate this year. So
Yeah.
I think you kind of just got to ride that. But also I understand riding Ranta.
yeah,
But also Freddie got you to the number one spot in the division.
exactly. It's back and forth over and over. Who do you go with?
Like I think if Ranta brings them there, Freddie could have brought them there and be even better.
Even, yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of the playoffs. Turn out.
Rangers in 6. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, yeah, no, I just don't see Rangers going into Carolina and beating them.
No. I think it's going till 7.
Yeah, I think Carolina wins in 6. I truly do. I think they beat New York in Game 6 and win, but we'll see. I want to end it off with something a little bit lighter. Thor: Love and Thunder trailer came out.
Yes,
Did you watch that?
I did. I'm excited for that. July 8th, I think it is.
Third, fifth.
5th? 3 plus 5.
Yeah. I can't remember.
We're probably both wrong.
Oh, Cassian Breakaway?
He just about.
Tried the Forsberg.
I got it on.
But no, it looks so good, dude. It looks so good. And now Christian Bale's in the MCU.
July 8th.
Christian Bale's in the MCU now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, I just hope the expectations of it, but it's just Thor movies,
They've always been good.
except Dark World.
Yes.
Might be the
Okay,
worst.
I take it back. They're not all good.
It's funny because the Thor series has one of the best MCU movies and one of the worst.
Yeah.
I think they just saw Dark World and they're like, okay, no, we have to do better.
Yeah.
So then they just went all out.
Ragnarok was sick.
Yeah, Ragnarok was the third and Dark World was the second.
Yeah.
So they were like, they saw Dark World and the reaction from it, and they're like, yeah, we can't have this again. But no, this was fun, bro.
Yeah, good.
This is a good
fun.
episode here. The rest of the playoffs is going to be really fun and entertaining. So I'm excited to see how far Tampa goes, what Colorado does. Do they finish St. Louis off in the next couple of days? We'll see. But let the people know where they can follow you.
I do this every time, dude. You can't put me on the spot like this. I think it's bgoff_73 on Instagram and Goff_Brandon or something. I don't know my handles.
You know what's coming, man. You know what's coming every time.
Twitter is Goff_Brandon.
Goff_Brandon.
Yeah.
But yeah, go follow the brother on the socials. You know where to follow me on Instagram at Jevon.Lefave, on Twitter at JevonLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LeftSideHeavy_. Follow Hayden, Hayden_Barton, I think.
It doesn't matter. He's not. We're not important enough for him. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. He decided to go with other commitments, but whatever.
Don't want to hang out with you anyways, Hayden.
Yeah, whatever, man. But if you're listening to this but you want to watch instead, head over to the YouTube channel, Left Side Heavy. Subscribe, ring the bell, like, comment, do all that sorts of jazz. And yeah, this is super fun. Playoff hockey. It's gonna get crazier and crazier. And look forward to talking to you again, Brandon.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Well, you say that we're in the right place. Do you know it? Do you know it? Did you tie yourself down? Are you losing your grip?